everyone, so I don't think I've actually done a talking video on my channel yet, but my name is Michael, Mike for short. You're welcome to call me Mike. I've got a lot of questions from folks about how I created my cover of Someone You Loved. So I wanted to take a bit of time to walk you through the different instruments that I'm using, walk you through my gear setup, so you can get an idea of how I did that. So starting off, I've got 3 pedals underneath me. So I've got a sustain pedal, first of all, which is straightforward, it's sustaining the notes. I've got another pedal which I've assigned to the sequencer, to the Roland MC-707, which is a stop-start. So I can press that to basically start the sequencer. So if I do that, you'll hear a count in. Oops. Oops, oh, all my tracks are down, that's why. So I'll just bring up the drums there, and you'll hear now. So a kick in will start as soon as I press the pedal. So that's an easy way just to get your hands in the correct position and then just hit the pedal. And then finally I have another pedal that I can use to control the amount of reverb. Put it down. So I will sometimes play that during the performance. And then I've got, so starting off on the Roland RD-2000, so that is the keyboard that I'm using here. And you'll see I've got 4 layers of instruments that I'm using. Starting off at the first layer, so the first one is an acoustic piano sound. And that's sort of the lead instrument that I'm using throughout. Then I've got a few instruments that are split in various ways around the keyboard. So the first one that I have is it's called Calm Choir Pad. That's how it sounds. Turn it up a little bit. So that one is throughout the keyboard, just to add a little bit of fullness to the sound. So this is throughout all the way on the keyboard. I'll play the acoustic piano on top of that, but I'll just increase the volume of the pad so you can hear. See, it just adds that little bit of extra sound. Then I've got another 2 instruments that are split at the keyboard. So these, I've got it's called Wide Soft Pad. That's the 3rd instrument that or the 3rd layer that I'm playing with. And that one goes, it's split, so it's only in the bass. So you'll hear, if I just turn off the acoustic piano, you'll hear at the top, if I press the keys, nothing. And then from this D down, you'll hear that pad. The pad also does sustain, so if I hold down the sustain pedal, that will sustain, but it's split. So I wanted the high end, if I'm playing the acoustic piano, I wanted this to be really clean at the top. Whoops. I didn't want that sound of the bass, but then the pad sound in the bass. And similar, I've got something with strings as well. So you'll hear, let's turn off the acoustic. So those also start from, that's the split point over there in the keyboard. So with the strings, I've done something a little bit interesting because strings can build up and sound quite muddy. So the strings actually don't respond to the sustain pedal. So you get that sort of sound no matter if I am holding down the sustain, the string won't be affected. So I'll play that with the acoustic piano on top of it. So you can hear that's how it sounds there. So yeah, so putting all the instruments together on the Roland, I've got a little mix over here as well, so I can mix them in different levels. So this is how they all sound together. You know, I can mix those as I'd like. So that's how that works. So moving on to the, so also the RD-2000's got really nice, I really like the sound of the reverb here, so especially when you're playing up high. So if I just turn up this reverb just a little bit, it's got such an awesome sound, so I'll just add a little bit of extra time onto it so you can hear it with the acoustic piano sound. Really cool. Okay, moving on to the Roland MC-707. So this is a step sequencer. If you're not aware of what a step sequencer does, it's basically a set of, it'll basically just run and it will just go through a bunch of steps. So this one allows you to do 128 steps per clip. So I'm using clips are basically just little clips. I don't really know how to explain them, but they're clips that can be made up of 128 step sequences. So on the Roland MC-707, I've got a few things. So I've used the scenes over here to basically recall. So scene 1 is the very beginning of the song. Scene 2, I believe, starts at the bridge, and then scene 3 at the chorus. So it's just an easy way when I'm practicing. If I want to just jump to a part of the song there, then I've got those scenes. You can also do some really cool things with MIDI, for instance. So MIDI it's a protocol that allows your electronic music instruments to talk to each other. So you connect a few cables, and that's how, for instance, I got the pedal here to control the stop-start. That's all done through MIDI. So there's still a lot to learn that I'm learning with what you can do with MIDI here, but I would like to get to a point where instead of I'm manually having to press pedals, the sequencer, as the song is progressing, the sequencer can do different things. For instance, it can turn off, the strings, or turn up the reverb on the RD-2000 at a certain time. So there's some really cool things that we can do. But back to this, to the Roland MC-707. So this is a sequencer. It's got 8 tracks over here. So all the blue tracks I'm using, and I'm not using all of them, but I'm using these for background instruments, and the green ones I'm using for drums. This red one over here, I did at some point have the RD-2000 coming back into the Roland MC-707, so I could do a few things there, but I've changed that the way that I had that set up, but that's why that track is there. So some of you might be wondering about the timing and how, because once you start the sequencer, so once I hit play here, and I'll just turn up the drums, this machine will just go for it right until the end. So there's no stopping. So I was playing a song at 110 BPM, which is quick. So once once this kicks off, there's no, you can't really stop it. So you've really got to know the song quite well, the tempo that you're playing, because if you lose it, it's not going to wait for you. I guess it's very similar to playing in a band. So as I said, I'm using these ones for drums. So let's start off with the drums over here. So with timing, so this track over here is actually a kick track. So I'm just going to change something slightly here, and I'll explain in a moment. So this track over here is just a room shot that's just helping me keep time. So what I had done with that is I had this coming out of a different output of here, and it was just going through to my headphones with the rest of the backing track. So that way I had a click track that was playing the whole time, like that. So that would go above everything else. And that just helped me keep the timing.
So that wasn't that wouldn't have been recorded. It was going through a separate output and just through my headphones. So that's what was helping me keep the time, but it wasn't in the recording. See how that definitely helps. So that's a little trick over there that I did. So starting off, I was using this track over here. As I said, this one over here is just a click track. So I'm just using a rim shot every quarter beat like that. So that just continues out throughout the entire song. That's that track over there. So I'll just keep this one just down a little bit so you can hear what it sounds like with the timing. I'll actually just turn it down. Then this first one over here I'm using for all of the non-cymbal parts of the drum. So that would be the kick over here. By the way, this is a drum pad, so I can play this. I can play that live. I'm obviously not a drummer, so this was quite difficult to do. But yeah, so I'm using this track and I'll play it for you so you can see the sequencer running. Okay, so that's being used for everything from the kick to toms, snare, hi-hat, and then the cymbals and everything is on the other track. So I'm just going to go to, and you'll see this just runs through the various clips, and that's how the song progresses. So it will, I had to work out, for instance, okay, well, first of all, it's going to be 8 bars of this, and then another 4 bars of, add in this part of the drum. So that's how you kind of build it, and then you do it in clip chaining. So you say, when this clip is done, move on to this clip, and then that clip can have a variation. So that's how the song progresses. But I'm going to just go to some of the tom hits so you can hear how that sounds. Okay, so that's that track. This one over here I'm using, as I said, for like the cymbals. So how they sound together. Now obviously this is all able to be adjusted in the tempo. Which is really helpful for when you're trying to practice. That's why I really wanted to sequence my own drums and not use a backing track. So I got full control then to be able to go and modify the tempo, for instance. Let me come back up. So this was at 110. So that's the drums. I did do, obviously mixed as best as I could, the various levels between them. This is all recorded live as well, so there was nothing that I did post. Yeah, and then let's move on to the backing instruments. So the first one that I had here was a guitar. So this was a really interesting one to do because, and I'll see if I can play it for you, the actual guitar sound. So this is how I actually sequence them in. So on the keyboard, this is again MIDI, so now this keyboard is actually controlling the Roland MC-707. But you can sort of work a strumming sound like this. Whoops, I just want to quickly change the sound to something else that I had here. Just give me a moment. So acoustic, I think I had saved this on the original track, but I didn't actually hit save. There we go. Okay, so you can hear there. So you can actually do a strum movement, and I worked this out on the keyboard by just rolling your hand. So listen here.
So yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things you can do there. So what I did, this is the first clip. So it's just one strum per bar, and then from there I wanted to create like a strumming sound. So, and obviously that's, you only have 128 steps, but you can change the scale of those steps. So what I did is I put it really at a really slow scale. So for instance, I'll undo this one. So it's 1/8, and then I just did these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I did that. And then I increased the scale again, which gave it that really quick strumming sound. So this is how it would have sounded when I recorded it. And I would have done it with a kick track like that to help me keep the timing. So you see it's 8, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, because I'm basically doubling it in time then with the scale. So when I increase the scale now, you'll hear that it's got that sort of strumming sound. So that's how I did that, which is a lot of fun. And then I've got this track over here, which is doing, it's kind of a pad sound. So that's what it sounds like. Yeah, so I basically just played that in. So these are some of the tracks that I had there. That iconic intro of the song, right? And what I realized is that in the original, so this actually plays throughout the verses in the background, which is why I recorded that in. So that's it recorded in there to the sequencer. And I think I did. Yeah, so I did. No. That one, and I got just a little bit higher up. That was the first one that I played, and then I played it up here, a little bit higher up. That was that clip, and then same thing, same thing, same thing. Yeah, so that's how that works. So let me put this mix up a little bit again. I'll go back to scene 1 to restart it, and I'll use the pedal to start the track, and just select, turn on my instruments on the Roland. Just going to put the volume again. This is a little bit different to how I was recording this, because I had them going through to my mixer, and then from there I was going through to my computer and I was recording tracks. I've simplified it a little bit for this recording of this video to make it easier. I've got it coming straight into the camera, so it does mean I have less control over what can be fixed later. So I'm hoping that this mix of sound is going to sound alright. But yeah, let's see how we go. So we'll start off. you can see that's how it progresses. So I hope that this was helpful. One thing I'll just quickly show you is some folks might be interested as to how you actually record on the sequencer. So let's just go. I'll use this. Let's turn off my instruments on the RD and let's select this track. Okay, so I'm going to create a new clip and just show you how this works. Okay, so there we go. So we've got the step sequencer running now. So you can see this is just, and I'll put the timing track up there so we can just hear our timing. But there it's running, and it's running 1 to 16, and it will just keep running 1 to 16. So now I can just go and record within that 16 steps, and it will just loop. So I'll just go, for instance, and that will just keep playing, just like that. Obviously that's probably not, let's clear that one, it's probably not going to be long enough, that actual length, so I'll put that up to 4 bars so you can get an idea. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, so let it run the sequencer once. We'll just do it, that easy. So yeah, you can see you can have a lot of fun just playing with a sequencer. Definitely an accompanying instrument I would recommend for anyone you know, to step it up from having a metronome. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight as to how I created the song, how my gear setup is. There's obviously a lot still to learn. And you know, one thing I would say is get to know your gear really well. Get to really know, like for instance, the guitar thing that I worked out, right? That was just from just sitting and reading manuals and just really understanding the gear to be able to know that that's an option. So the more you know that your gear, the more options you know. Oh, I can do that by doing this. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gave some of you some ideas for what you can do. So thanks a lot. Oh, one thing. So I'm trying to build up my my channel subscribers. So please, if this was helpful, please like and subscribe to this video. It will really help me out. Really appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching.